All right, guys, today's video is about a very interesting, very unique Michael Jordan card that you may have already figured out from the obvious picture of it on the thumbnail, the 1992 Upper Deck MVP hologram. We're going to look at the origin of the card. We're going to look at a recent sale of a PSA 10 of this card. We're going to look at the prices of PSA 9s of this card, and then we're just going to throw out a bunch of questions such as, what the hell is going on with this premium for a PSA 10 over a PSA 9, and is this absolute lunacy? Today's video is about that 1992 Upper Deck MVP hologram Michael Jordan card. If you've got a bunch of unwanted inventory that you've been sitting on for days, weeks, months, years, ship it to Fanatics Marketplace and let them do all the work. Just make sure when you ship it, you use the promotional code Cajun, all capital letters, C-A-J-U-N. Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana. As I mentioned in the intro, we're going to talk about one Michael Jordan card today. This is sort of going to be like a little miniature explore the card. It's not going to be a long video. It's just going to be a video where we take a peek at a card I don't think I've ever really talked much about on the channel. I know it's appeared in a mail day because the card that you're looking at on the screen is my little baby placeholder PSA 8, which is only a few bucks. Not a valuable card, but man, is this card gorgeous. This is a hierarchy card. This card does appear in tier 4 of the hierarchy on page 14. This 1992 Upper Deck Michael Jordan MVP holograms PSA 8 is sitting in my vault at Fanatics. Okay, how did we get to this topic? How did I even come up with this video? Well, I got to give credit where credit's due. I was reached out to by one of the OGs, one of the guys that has watched the channel. He's commented on the channel. He's messaged me on Instagram. He's sort of followed along with the growth of the Cajun Cardboard channel from inception. The great Daniel Barley reached out to me and said, hey, did you see the crazy deal with the PSA 10 on the Upper Deck MVP hologram? I'm like, no, Dan, what are you talking about? And he sent me a picture, and I was like, holy hell, this would be a good video. It would be a great conversation piece. And so Dan is what turned me on to this. Let's look a little bit closer, Dan, thanks. And hopefully the people will enjoy the video and give you a shout out as well in the comments. Here we go. I'm on, I always like to search Beckett. Beckett does really good write-ups about cards and where they come from and how they're distributed and packaged and all that stuff. So I'm just going to read you the Beckett little set information description over here about this card that we're talking about today. This 38 card standard size hologram set consists of Upper Deck's selection of the MVP on each of the NBA's 27. What? Yes, 27. They had an odd number of teams in the NBA in 92. Plus 9 future MVPs, and that's where all hell breaks loose because they're trying to figure out who are going to be future MVPs. So they kind of pick the best player on each team, and we're going to look at the checklist. So it's a pretty cool endeavor and kind of take a time machine back and look at who the best players were on each of the NBA teams back in 1992. Focusing on those future MVPs, we're focusing on players who could become their team's MVP in the near future. The funny thing is that they use the word just. 138,000 individually numbered sets were produced, and they were available only through hobby dealers and select retail outlets beginning in mid-May. The fonts display a color action cut out photo and a holographic inset photo set against a background of geometric shapes in gray, black, and the team's colors. On the team color-coded panels with gray geometric shapes, the backs carry player profiles. Included in the set, and this is really cool, listen, included in the set is a card that carries instructions for ordering a matching display album. And I've seen this before. I've seen this on, I can't remember if it's on Instagram or YouTube or what. You could order a matching display album to where you could kind of package your Upper Deck MVP hologram cards. So 38 cards. Let's bounce over to tcdb.com, tradingcarddatabase.com. That's where you want to go if you want to find out more information about sets and checklists and products and things like that from the 90s especially. So here we go. The cards appear in obviously an alphabetical team order. At least they do 1 through 27, and then after that it looks like they just are when they're trying to guess who the next team MVPs are going to be. Let's just start with the 9 guys that they thought would be future MVPs. So we've got let's see, Lloyd Daniels. I don't know if you guys remember him. Big light-skinned dude. I feel like he was left-handed, maybe not. Like a big point forward before the point forwards were the thing. He was a big old guard for the San Antonio Spurs. That did not work out. Todd Day, Milwaukee Bucks, okay. Tom Gugliotta, yeah, he ended up being an absolute stud for the Bullets for sure. Robert Horry never really became the team MVP for the Rockets, although he was an integral piece of like a bazillion titles, including those 2 Rockets titles that they got while Jordan was on vacation / baseball. Christian Laettner. Believe it or not, guys, go check out Leitner's stuff. He ended up being a multiple All-Star. I think he was a 2-time All-Star. I might be wrong on that, but I think it was 2. Maybe it was 1, but I think it was 2. Harold Miner definitely never worked out. Baby Jordan didn't work out at all. Alonzo Mourning, they nailed that, although he really, I would say LJ was probably the MVP of the Hornets, but Alonzo ended up being MVP of the Heat for sure, certainly shortly thereafter. Shaq, boy, they nailed that one. And then Walt the Wizard Williams right there. And then there's also a checklist, serial numbered to 138,000. So if you think you've got a low pop card, what is the highest serial number card that you own? I guess I should just ask that question to the people that are watching this video. I bet 138,000 is a pretty big number in most people's opinion. So anyway, let's look at the 27 MVPs just real fast, because there's conjecture out there from these young LeBron lovers, right? And I'm a huge LeBron guy too, but like those folks that say Jordan didn't play against anybody. Look at the teams he beat. No wonder LeBron lost. He had to play against these great teams. Dude, if you go through these 27 teams, there's going to be a couple of names that are going to be like, who the hell was that? But most of these names are first ballot Hall of Famers. Just listen, I'll rattle them off quickly. Dominique Wilkins, yes. Reggie Lewis passed away. Would have been a surefire Hall of Famer. Would have been a surefire All-Star, multiple All-NBA. Larry Johnson, Grandmama. Michael Jordan, card number 4 in the pack. We've already looked at that. Mark Price, Derek Harper, Dikembe Mutombo, first ballot Hall of Famer. Isaiah, first ballot Hall of Famer. Chris Mullin, first ballot Hall of Famer. Hakeem Olajuwon, first ballot Hall of Famer. Reggie Miller, first ballot Hall of Famer. Danny Manning just didn't get it done because nobody on the Clippers got it done. James Worthy, Hall of Famer. Glenn Rice, amazing player, fantastic player for the Heat and Hornets. I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure if he deserves it or not. I have to go take a much closer look, but I love Glenn Rice coming out of the University of Michigan. Alvin Robertson, nasty, nasty defensive player. One of the greatest perimeter defenders of all time. Chuck Person, the rifleman. Derek Coleman, just flamed out too quickly. Wasn't really a winner. Had a pretty nasty attitude. Ewing, Hall of Famer. Scott Skiles, all-time single-game assist record with 30. That stood for, what, now over 30 years, I think. Hersey Hawkins out of Bradley University. Charles Barkley, Hall of Famer. Clyde Drexler, Hall of Famer. Mitch Richmond, Hall of Famer. David Robinson, Hall of Famer. Sean Kemp, Karl Malone, Hall of Famer. Purvis Ellison is the last of the MVPs. And again, they had to choose somebody on the Bullets, and they weren't going to choose George Murison or Muggsy Bogues. So Never Nervous Purvis out of Louisville got the nod. So there's your checklist. There's your cards. There are only 138,000 of them out there. So I'm a proud owner of one out of 138,000. And mine's just a baby PSA 8. The purpose of this video is to kind of take a closer look at what the hell's going on with the value of this card in the various grades. So let's compare and contrast a little bit and just throw this thing out there and let you guys discuss it in the comments. Out of the 138,000, only 1,221 have been graded by PSA and Beckett combined. That's kind of interesting to me. And I'm sorry, SGC's included in that as well. So a little bit under, or a little bit over 1,000 have been graded by PSA and Beckett together. The gem rate for PSA is a paltry, minuscule 2.61%. Tuck that away because I think that has a big bearing on the disparity between PSA 10 and PSA 9 and PSA 10 versus BGS 9.5, 2.61% gem rate. That's low even by 90s Jordan standards, especially on pretty common high print run 90s Jordan cards. That is a very low gem rate number right there. And we'll look at the card right here. I mean, look, you've got the black edge down here. You've got the red edge up there. You're okay with the white on these two corners, but you're going to have issues. I mean, you can clearly look and see the issue on mine, which is why it's a PSA 8, is this red corner up here. It's not red, it's white, right? There's snow all over that thing. So that's really the telltale sign. For those of you that can't tell, it's a great image of Jordan, by the way, and his hands were like freaking oven mitts, okay? They're humongous, like big bear paws. That's why he can do so many things with the ball in one hand, all the ball fakes, shot fakes, pass fakes, things like that. He's got a million highlights. If you just Googled Jordan ball fakes, I mean, he'd have hundreds of one-hand shot fakes and ball fakes. That's how big his hands were. But a great image of Jordan right here. Really nostalgic image with that hologram in the background. You can't, again, with holograms, atomics, and refractors, you can't really tell much from a 2D image, but this is the best you're going to get. That hologram in the background is really cool if you swivel and move it around. So, but getting back to it, so 23 PSA 10s. Oh, wow. Imagine that. 23. What a coincidence. PSA 10s out there graded by PSA. 21 at BGS 9.5. So fewer 9.5 gems in BGS than there are in PSA. But again, much easier gem rate, 11.6%. So about, 4.5, 5 times as easy to gem. SGC is even tougher than both. 101 have been graded, 1 SGC 10. Yikes, that's rough. Okay, so here's the talk of the town, right? So this most recent sale, this was on September 1st. I am recording this on September 6th. You're probably not going to see it for a week or so, something like that, because I'm backlogged on the videos that I've got coming out. So keep in mind, if something happens, between now and then, don't shoot the messenger. This is being recorded on September 6th, the morning of September 6th. So 5 days ago, this bad boy sold for $7,500. Believe it or not, it's not the highest price ever paid, okay? The highest price ever paid was $10,000 for this card back in 2022. So we're not even dealing with the peak of where this card sold, but we're dealing with the most recent sale because that's pertinent to our analysis today. $7,500 for one of the 23 PSA 10 Michael Jordan copies, and there it is right there, and it looks good. And you can tell, see that top right red? It doesn't have any snow on it. It looks absolutely perfect. Tough card to gem. So $7,500 is what we're working with. What about the PSA 9? Last sold for $150. $150. So I don't have the math. I probably could have done this and should have done this math, but 7,500 divided by 150, let's just kind of go quickly. That's at least 6,000. I would say that's probably close to 50x. Does that sound about right? 5, yeah, that's about 50x, I think, between the PSA 9 and the PSA 10. 50x. That is one hell of a multiplier. I'll calculate it and make sure I get that right. And then what about the BGS 9.5? Well, the most recent BGS 9.5 sold for $675. Let's look at the highest prices ever. That's the second highest price ever. So in both of the highest prices ever paid for the BGS 9.5 were in 2024. There is no doubt that the reason for those high BGS 9.5, I say high, it's still $600, right? You're talking about 15x to get to the PSA 10 value. But the reason I think those BGS 9.5 prices have kind of peaked in 2024 is that probably people looked at PSA 10s and said, well, shit, if the PSA 10 is $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, then surely it's not a bad idea, off of Hoodies Collectibles on eBay and off of Beam Team Collectibles, great name, off of eBay. Somebody's like, I'm going to snatch this BGS 9.5 for 1/15 of the value of the PSA 10. Let me know what you think. Too big a disparity? What's the deal? What are we looking at? What do you guys think about this card? There's 138,000 of them out there. I feel like if I went and bought the damn thing raw for whatever it's going to be, $30, hell, let's just watch this. Maybe we can look up raw. This is transparent and organic. Watch me work here, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to put we're going to put minus BGS, minus PSA, minus SGC, and we're going to see if we can just find a bunch of raw stuff. All right, now we're talking. Here we go. The last raw one, $10. Here's another raw one, $25. $5, $10, $20, 18, 22, 10. That's graded. 3, 23, 16. Let's just say the raw ones on average, or let's just say 15. Can I not buy 100 of those? What would that be? $1,500 for 100? Is that right? Yeah, if I buy 100 of them at $15 each, and then I graded them with PSA, the odds are I'm going to get back 2.6 PSA 10s. Again, that's assuming that I'm buying 100 with a chance at a 10. Some of them are clearly not going to have a chance at a 10, but it seems like it would make sense to go buy 50 raw ones just to have some fun Boy, would that make for a great video if I bought 50 of them and sent all 50 to PSA to see if I could get a 10. Maybe I just gave somebody out there an idea. I'm sorry, I don't have time to do that, but that would make for absolutely fantastic content if I bought 50 of these raw, targeted it, put it into a spreadsheet, sent them off to PSA, got them back 5 weeks later, and then did a grade reveal video where it was 50 1992 MJ Upper Deck MVP hologram cards, and if I hit a 10, that would make for fantastic content. Let me know what you think, guys. $7,500 for a 10, $150 for a PSA 9, $650, $700 for a BGS 9.5. What are we talking about here? What move are you making? Are you going to pay that premium for the 10? You going to be okay with a couple of 9s? Would you rather 4 9s or 1 BGS 9.5? There's a lot of decisions to be made with this card, or maybe you could just be some poor chump like me and be rocking this PSA 8, right? Because that's all I got right now. I haven't even forked out the 150 to pick up the PSA 9, which reminds me though, it's a hierarchy card that I can go upgrade to a PSA 9 for $150. Man, that's a move I got to make. Change the color of my highlight on my Excel spreadsheet, tracking my hierarchy collection. That would be a good feeling for $100 to go move this up to a PSA 9, or maybe I'll move on a BGS 9.5 quad gem or something like that for a few $100 more. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about this card in particular, whether 138,000 serial number is low pop, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I always like taking a look at Michael Jordan cards that are sort of off the radar, although it's a hierarchy card, so it's one of the 378 cards that are on the poster. Let me know what you guys think about this card and the pricing at the current moment. Thank you guys as always for watching my Jordan stuff. Keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby, and peace.